WB is releasing their 2021 movie slate on HBO Max the same day the movie is released in theaters. We have got to talk about this. Stay tuned as we react to this news on this episode of Blerd Up Reacts.
What's up, Blerd Squad? You're watching another episode of Blerd Up Reacts, where we talk about all things movies, TV, and gaming, all with a blurred twist. We're your host. I'm Killer Cam.
And I'm Monique.
And what is this? What is this? This news that has changed the game forever. So this week they announced, well, they being Warner Brothers, announced that basically every movie that they have slated coming out in 2021 will actually premiere on HBO Max at the same time as it debuts in theaters, starting with Wonder Woman 1984. I chuckled when I heard this because I was like, I told you. I told you. What did you think? Well,
yeah, pretty much. I was like, like, what is going on? Because I mean, we already knew with Wonder Woman 1984 they were going to release it on HBO Max December 25th, the same time they would be releasing in theaters. But for them to make a decision like this to release not 1, 2, 3, or 4 of their movies next year, but all of their movies next year on HBO Max, like it pretty much blew my mind. And I was like, oh, this is when everything changes. Like, this is a moment in history right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Was probably the most gangster thing I've seen in 2020. Like, because we knew it was, well, let me rephrase that. We should have known it was coming. I feel like a lot of us saw this coming, but maybe they didn't think about it as, well, we know Warner Brothers was considering it as a viable option, but we haven't seen any other studios really take that leap yet. So here's my deal. We're kind of deviating from what we normally do. And not so much deviating. We're actually kind of kicking off something that we've wanted to do for a long time. When we see like major things, major shifts that pop up with it, whether it's TV, whether it's movie, whether it's gaming, breaking news, 9 times out of 10, these two blurs got something to say about it. And we want to start sharing that with you guys because we want to hear you sound off as well. So stay tuned because this is going to be a conversation. This is going to be a conversation. If you are subscribed to our channel, thank you so much for your support. We do hope you like this new segment. And if you are new to this channel, just dropping by, stumbling across this segment, as well as any reactions or any reviews or anything else we might have cooking up, we appreciate you. Make sure if you do like this content, drop down, hit that like and subscribe button so you can stay up to date on everything we have coming up. Let's get into this Warner Brothers HBO Max stuff because they literally like
I feel like literally I literally want to go up to the Warner Brothers building and be like, we're not worthy. Right. We're not.
And you know what?
I feel like
they were so gangster with it. They have a trailer. They made this shit. They're like, we got a whole marketing campaign just ready. Check out this trailer.
Yeah, they were like, did you release the news? Go ahead, drop the trailer as well.
Yeah. It all happened so quickly.
Like, I could imagine just being at another studio just to be like, what did they do? And then like somebody walking to them with a pad and be like, sir, here's the trailer. They've got a trailer? Like, I could just imagine like this going down at like Universal or Paramount or somewhere, you know? Man, it's woo, yeah.
It's a deal. I'll tell you what, why don't we do this before we hop into the conversation? Let's actually take a look at this trailer. Because I feel like they just talking so much sly under the radar stuff, you know? Let's see what they talk about in the trailer. Let's come back and discuss it. What do you think?
Yep. All right, let's go. I'm ready. Let's look at this.
All right, let's do this.
There's something happening. Next year,
Sorry.
Warner Brothers Pictures is bringing you the biggest premieres.
So this is the Suicide Squad.
In
Yo.
theaters and streaming exclusively on HBO Max. The exact same day.
But the what now?
Right. That was everybody's reaction. The what now?
Right. Man.
Like all these titles, and they put the Matrix in.
On HBO
Right.
Max beginning December 25th.
Yo,
Woo.
they are talking so much smack in that trailer. I just feel it. Don't you feel like
Right.
it's like uh-huh.
Right.
We was ready. We was ready.
Man, like, and they did the double title for Matrix 4 at the end there. They were like,
Yeah.
remember we got Matrix 4, remember?
Right. But that's the
Oh.
thing. This is the thing that makes this so killer, because all of their staples, all the movies they've been hyping up for the past 2 years, all the movies specifically with DC Comics that they've been teasing at DC Fandom and all this other junk.
Yeah. But I do have a question though, because due to the environment that we are in right now with the pandemic, I'm absolutely loving that WB is giving us choices right now with these movies. However, I am, before the whole pandemic, I was an avid movie theater goer. I loved the movie theater experience. I loved going every Friday to a movie theater, even if I go alone, to watch whatever new movie was coming out that week.
Yeah.
How is this going to, well, I'm not even going to say how is this going to affect movie theaters, because I know it is going to affect movie theaters at this point. But do you think after this, because I think in the WB statement, they said this is just for 2021, 2022, we're going to be back to normal. Do you think people will want to go back to the movie theaters after this?
All right, so guys, this is where I get into rant mode. And this is why I think this deserves so much of a conversation, because in some of our little nerd groups that we participate in, I have seen people really like lose their shit over not being over these movies being released at the same time as they are in theaters. Like they're not going to be in theaters at all. And I'm like, what are y'all? I don't get the argument here. Here's what I see. And this is what I'm going to stick to. Y'all motherfuckers was behind the 8 ball this whole time. Because we knew that eventually that this day would come. This has been in the works. This has been in the making, not for nothing, for 10 years. Because what's happening is streaming is doing what the movie theater, doing to the movie theater what Netflix did to Blockbuster and every other mom and pop's video shop. Look at it. It's the truth. When WB says, or when people say, okay, this is just for 2021 and then we'll get back to normal. What is normal? This is the new normal. You know what I mean? Yeah. Honestly.
But just speaking as somebody who does like to see movies in the theater, I still, when it's safe to go back into movie theaters, like Godzilla versus Kong, I would have loved to see that movie on a movie theater. However, there have been so many times when I've been in a movie theater and I'm excited to see a movie that I've been waiting to come out, for a year, maybe even 2. And I get into the movie theater and my movie theater experience is ruined by, somebody else that's in it. I remember going to watch a movie that I was super excited to go see. And a person came, sat in my row. And as soon as the movie started, they pulled out their phone, didn't dim the light on their phone, and was on it the entire movie. I don't even know why this person came to the movie. They were alone. They didn't have anybody else with them, but they were on their phone the entire movie. And through the entire movie, I could see the light from their phone out the corner of my eye. And I was like, you've just really ruined my movie experience for me. So my thing is, there are movies that I would love to go see in a movie theater. Godzilla versus Kong. I would have loved to go see The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It at a movie theater. However, if movie theaters don't step their game up and provide a better experience for those people who love going to the movie theaters, then my option is going to be, I'm staying at home to watch this movie just because I don't want anybody else to ruin it for me. And I know the movie theater is not going to do anything about somebody trying to ruin this movie for me. Yeah. So the ball is in the movie theater's court at this point.
Yeah, and I think that's really what it boils down to, because listen, I do think there is a lane once things do get back to, or once we figure out what the new normal is. IMAX, I think that's safe. I think that's going to be safe because there's going to be movies like you say, King Kong, Godzilla, if they do any more Jurassic Parks, things like that, space, those type of movies, hell, even regular movies on an IMAX screen, or even if it comes out in 3D, like those are things that are going to pull the audience back into the movie theater. However, they are going to need to really adapt their business model here, because you can already see what's happened in just this year alone, where this started with like The Hunt and Birds of Prey going to streaming like within a 1 week period. You have to understand that the way movie theaters are set up when they're licensing these movies and they've got them playing on 10 screens and nobody's coming to see it, your movie theater's not making any money. That's number one. If you're not selling any tickets, that's also hurting the studios, because they don't have any big numbers to boast about what's the highest grossing film within this period. Yeah. Did you think that the studios were going to sit there and wait for the damage to be done? I mean, fiscally already, when you look at this year, it's lower than what it's been in previous years due to the Rona, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say WB just made the decision that they did what they had. It was gangster decision, but they did what they had to do. They said, if we don't get these movies out, if we stick these movies on a shelf for 1 year, 2 years, we are not going to make money. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put these movies out on HBO Max the same day as theaters and get our HBO Max subscriptions up. Because right now, I don't think they were doing too well in the HBO Max subscriptions. It actually, their subscriptions cost like what, $14.99 a month, which is amongst the highest of the streaming services. So they were like, boom. This is what we're going to do to make money. We're going to get those HBO subscriptions, HBO Max subscriptions up, and that's where we're going to make our money from. We've already got the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. Exactly. We've already got all the DC shows. Let's just, boom, take it a step further,
Exactly. So. And it's really smart because, eventually what's going to, and I'm going to come back to it later, what's eventually going to happen, we've already seen it, in the time of pandemic with Netflix and Hulu, membership prices have gone up. Now you've got this streaming service with exclusive content and giving you flexibility to watch movies. Taking into consideration the pandemic, people don't want to be bothered with germs or whatever, or maybe you create your own viewing experience at home. Either way, you get to watch the movie anyway. Either way, the money you pay towards your subscription, or if they do a theater at home type thing, they're running about $20 for a 24-hour rental. They're recouping their money. I feel like this is the new normal. What theaters are going to need to do is really amp up the theater going experience, which means, like you said, keeping that mug clean, making sure your ushers are going up and down the aisle, be like, put your phone up, making sure we've actually seen not the bigger corporation, not the big, like the AMCs or the Cinemarks or whatever they're called now. We've seen people come in and capitalize off this pandemic and start opening up drive-in theaters. shows and movies that have been kind of going through, like, I guess, audience test runs. They're making events out of them. Lovecraft Country had a whole finale event where this whole parking lot was turned into a drive-in theater, basically. They're adapting to what's happening with the pandemic. In essence, also understanding that back in the day, drive-ins were the ish, and everything always tends to come full circle, which means they're probably about to be the ish again. You know? Theaters are going to have to step up their game.
Yeah, they better.
And it's funny.
I was going to say, they better bring me a glass of champagne or wine or something while I'm watching my movie next time I'm there. Just, ring a bell. Ding, 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 ding. Bring me my...
I think there's options here, though. So let's say because honestly, like you said, WB, they're gangster for doing this. I honestly expected Universal to do this first with Candyman, Halloween Kills, like all of these things that they had in the pipeline. I thought that they were going to be the ones to be like...
I actually think they already have some kind of deal with like AMC or something like that. So they actually started the ball in terms of making changes and kind of adapting, but it was nowhere near what WB just did. It was nowhere near releasing all their movies on streaming. And I'm kind of thinking at this point, what are the other studios going to do at this point? Because we have Paramount, Universal. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do anything for a little bit of time, but Paramount, Sony doesn't even have a streaming service right now, so
right.
I don't know if they're trying to get that off the ground. But I don't know. Like, do these other movie studios now go into their boardrooms and say, "Hey, WB set this off. We gotta set this off as well," or do they say just stick to what we were doing?
They're going to have to, because this is not going away. This is the natural evolution of what it means to live in a digital world. That's the way. The fact that this didn't happen maybe 5 years ago, I'm actually shocked that it took this long to get here. But the reason I say Universal, they're not dumb. There's a reason why Halloween Kills, Candyman have been pushed back in such drastic ways. That deal, whatever they struck up, I don't think it's viable. Because if you think about these flagship movies, Halloween, Candyman, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, these are things that have been teased for almost 5 years. Do you think the audience is going to be very pleased to wait 2 more years to get these movies? Do you think they have that type of shelf life? Maybe DC might be able to do it, but when you think about the average inventory of what a studio turns out on a yearly basis, they can't afford to have that inventory sitting on the shelf.
They can't.
They absolutely cannot. They also can't really count on some of their new titles. Let's say Freaky, which I heard is awesome and I'm actually going to watch tonight, had a run of like maybe 3 weeks in the theater and now it's on digital. Where do you think the bulk of their sales are going to come from?
Yeah.
If they shelved that movie and pushed it to next year, do you think the interest would have been as great? I think they capitalized off of this being a pandemic and wasn't shit else coming out. And they're like, here, push it out. Yeah. So I think that's where the studios are already thinking about this. This is where I think the theaters need to adapt. Whether they stop with the 10, 20 screens and make it more of a boutique experience. We've been to... in Chicago, I forgot what it was called, but it was like kind of like a Bruin View where there was couches and it was like a lounge and you watched the movie there in that type of environment. Once the pandemic's over, maybe they cater to that type of audience, the grown and sexy, Maybe they take it back to the old school. You've got the studios, the Foxes, the Sonys, the Universals, where they have smaller boutique titles, and maybe they go back to the days of movie houses where those smaller titles is what shows in the movie theaters and their blockbusters maybe hit the streaming services or whatever. Because I think that for smaller film, even indies, smaller filmmakers, that experience still caters to them. You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see, but if anyone, go ahead.
I was gonna say, for me, like, I don't even think it would take that for me, because I've had the chance to go to those movie theaters where I think they like serve food now and stuff like that. But I've never been that type of movie goer. When I go to the movies, I want to get my medium popcorn, I want to get my large icy, and I want to sit and watch my movie. And that has always been my movie experience. So my thing is, if we ever do get back to, I think we are going to get back to theater, we do, what I just don't want to see anymore is people in there ruining my movie experience. I've spent how much on this IMAX movie ticket and waited so long to see this movie. I need y'all to come take care of business. Have these movie theaters clean. Have these chairs clean. You better put some leather on these chairs. Just
the motor on my recliner better not be broken.
Right. Just make it a better experience that it has been. You don't even have to serve me a steak dinner. Just let me be able to relax and get into the movie that I've been waiting years and years and years to see. You know?
Yeah. I agree with that, because the only times I go to movie theaters are times that I've gone with you, basically. And that's our social thing to do. But if you give me the option to watch it at home, baby, guess what? I ain't got to change my clothes. I ain't got to rush off of work to hop in the car, make sure I got gas to drive 20 miles to my favorite movie theater. I don't have to be annoyed with other people and cheering in the theater time. I don't have to deal with all that. I can eat what I want to.
Talking back to the screen.
Right.
I understand that. I know.
And when I think about it, and for me, this is just for my viewing experience, I'd much rather drop 20 bones on a subscription service or a 24-hour rental at my house and make a whole event of it and eat what I want and drink what I want and not have to deal with anybody else, versus spending the same amount of money, possibly more, to go to the theater, be stressed out with traffic, and then have to deal with bullshit, Have to really be thinking in my head, please don't make me body slam this person because I want to hear this movie and they won't shut the hell up,
Please don't make me body slam this person because they sitting in my assigned seat. And I went up to them and they said, "Oh no, it's fine. You good? It's good, right? No, move out my seat, bro. I paid for this seat. It's right in the middle of the screen. Like, move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought of another thing though.
Go ahead.
Well, I just thought another thing though, because we did get the experience with Disney Plus putting out Mulan on their streaming service, but then they better step their game up too, because again, when they first put it out, it was like, what, a $30 charge to purchase that movie.
Yeah.
HBO Max said, just buy a subscription. So Disney gonna have to think about what they gonna do. Like, I know there's a decision in terms of putting their big movies on Disney Plus, but also whether or not to charge their subscribers an extra fee to see the movie, because I did not. I had Disney Plus. I did not pay $30 to watch Mulan. It's on there now. I'm gonna watch it later on, but when it came out, I was like, $30.
But again, that's what I'm saying, and I think that's why this right here, and I'm laughing in my head, and I'll go back to it later. But this has changed things in such a drastic way. Warner Brothers is kind of, whether they had the idea first or maybe it was in the works with other studios, they pulled the trigger on it and they're setting themselves up for success. Because I'm pretty sure while these movies are premiering on HBO Max, it's exclusive. You can't get it on Vudu. You can't rent it on Amazon or any other type of shit you're trying to do. It's just not going to be available. So that revenue is going to be going directly to them. What I'm laughing at, because all of this will kick off on December 25th, baby Jesus' birthday, the rebirth or invigoration of Wonder Woman in the form of 1984. We're going to get Cheetah. We're going to get all this stuff. And this is the person. This is the movie that changed the movie business. Moving on. This is the movie that just ruined it for all y'all suckers. Like, y'all been waiting on me for 3-4 years.
In the future, there's going to be trivia games. Like, what is the movie that kicked off this and that put movie theater to the end? Wonder Woman 1984.
It did. And Mo, I'm not kidding. I feel like this was a strategy. I feel like this was some shady shit I would have came up with in the back room because they hesitated. Remember how much they hesitated with Wonder Woman 1984. We've been hearing about this movie forever. It was in production. It was done. It was ready to come out, and they was like, pause. You go first. You go first, Black Widow. Oh, you not gonna go? Okay. Hold on.
Hold my beer.
Well, when is it coming out? You know, we just trying to test it out. We wanted to be a good experience. DC fandom done come by, you know. The date's still kind of wishy-washy.
They just doing that for Wonder Woman. They not gonna put any more movies out on streaming like that. WB said, hold my beer. Hold on.
December 3rd, 2020. The world changed. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is, but Warner Brothers got their foot on y'all neck. Y'all better get with the program. Theater chains, I hope there is a way y'all recover for this. I actually do want to preserve that social experience, but y'all gonna have to step this up, man. You have to step it up because this is, I cannot honestly say that after 2021, it goes back to, okay, it's all over now. Everybody just go back to normal operating. I doubt it. That's not going to happen. I
really want to. I miss the movie theater, but like I said, and like you were saying, if they don't get the movie theaters don't get their stuff together, y'all going to lose me.
Right.
So
and if there's anyone watching,
court,
y'all
got served. Y'all better dance down the little saint.
Like, not for nothing, like I really it just baffles me to that. It baffles me in a sense that they didn't see this coming, though. This is not new. We have seen this with digital. As the world becomes more digital, we saw this with Blockbuster and Netflix. We saw this with CDs and Napster. Like, this is just history repeating itself, and the fact that you guys have had well over 10 years to prepare for this shit. Pandemic or not, this should not be as much of a struggle as it is, and apparently it wasn't that big of a heavy lift for WB. So
yeah.
Right. I'm curious to what y'all think. We done talked a lot of smack up here, and I'm the first one to say I don't think I'm wrong.
Well, when do you ever think you're wrong?
I don't think I'm wrong. I'm not wrong, but you can prove me wrong in the comments.
Think they ever wrong,
because we're normally not wrong. So I'm gonna just say that. It depends on if you're a December Capricorn or a January Capricorn. Well, shit. It depends on. It depends on if you were born in 1980 or not.
I don't know if I can go any more octaves.
Prove me wrong in the comments below. That's all I can say. Prove me wrong in the comments below. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all fun, but I really think it's just interesting how we got to this point. Just from a business case perspective, I find it interesting and I find it hilarious as fuck. I was literally at my desk like...
Yo. Oh, son.
So we gonna throw some memes in here. Thug Life. We gonna throw the Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey, that's actually awesome. If you guys are not a member of our Facebook page yet, please log on to Facebook. Follow us at Blerd Up Reacts. I want to see some of those memes, man. If you got some memes, I want to see that shit too. Any parting shots?
Nah, I'm good. Yeah, man, mind blown. I'm ready for this. I'm
Yeah.
just yeah.
Yeah, we hear, we see it. Until next time, guys. Again, we're your hosts. I'm Killer Cam.
Oh shit, and I'm breaking stuff, and I'm Monique.
We'll see you on the next episode of Blerd Up Reacts. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.